What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the second ever Trust the Bank TTB Ravens Media live with the viewers. I know it just shows myself and Joshua, but we do have Patrick on. Y'all just can't see him. He's just got a voice in there, which also is a reminder, if people ever want to join, you don't have to have, you don't have to have a face cam. You don't have to have anything like that. You can just join. We can have a good time. But Patrick, do you want to introduce yourself to all the viewers?
Yes, my name is Patrick. I've been really a huge Ravens fan for as long as I could remember. The first time I really started to be like a Ravens fan was I remember a game, and it was the Ravens. They took on the Dallas Cowboys, and it was in Baltimore. And I just remember watching it, not knowing anything about the Ravens, watching it and just seeing them winning that by a game-winning field goal by Justin Tucker. And I was amazed. And, ever since that moment, I've always been a Ravens fan since I could remember. I've been, throughout. I remember the years when we won that Super Bowl run. I even shed a tear when we won the Super Bowl. I'm not going to lie. I shedded a freaking tear. And, ever since that, I've been a Ravens fan. And, hey, that's how I'm here.
Hey, love to hear it. We got some people in the chat already. What's good, Living Legend? What's good, Paul? I can't pronounce that last name. It could be Maychek, Masick. I don't know. But basically what we're going to be doing on this stream is probably talk, as always, we'll talk about whatever the viewers are asking. If they have any questions, it doesn't have to even be Ravens related. Could be football related, could be basketball related, could be, I don't even know, whatever related. Whatever y'all want us to talk about, we will talk about it. This is meant to be just a fun, enjoyable segment during the off season because there isn't a lot of stuff like that really going on. What's going on? We got Steven. I see the Titans logo. Shout out to the Titans. I really hope the Titans don't get Julio. What's up, Caleb? I see Zach McKinnell, host of the Blue Bloods podcast, college football podcast. Vontae Thornton, let's get Julio. Completely agree. Stephen Yackley, what's good, man? Here's our first question, and this is a question that I really like from Caleb. Basically says, let's say the Clippers get bounced in the first round. Where's Kawhi going? For me, now I like the Clippers. I'm a fan of Kawhi. I love Paul George. However, I'm an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. OKC owns the future of the Clippers. All their picks. They traded them all for Paul George. I would love to see them lose just because then Kawhi could leave. And that would ruin the Clippers' future and just help OKC that much more. But one, I don't think they're going to lose. But if they were to lose, I think a team that he could go to. See, the issue is Kawhi wanted to go to LA because that's where he's from. So I think he'd want to stay in California, and the Lakers don't have the money, and that leaves the Warriors. Which, as a Thunder fan, I really don't want to say, but I think they'd have the money if they could dump Andrew Wiggins. If they traded Draymond Green, I mean, we could really see a Steph, Clay, Kawhi trio, which I don't want to see at all. That is not on my wish list. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Where do you think he's going? Patrick, you got any ideas?
Man, I don't know. I mean, when you look at, Kawhi, it's like, in that Clippers situation, I really just don't see him going. But if I had to pick a team that I've been just thinking, could be the New York Knicks. The only reason why I think it could be the New York Knicks is, they have players in contract where I think they only have like a team option, stuff like that, where they'll play for 1 year and then they get free agents. So they'll have like a lot of cap space. And I mean, hey, you're playing Madison Square Garden. I mean, one of the, they say the Mecca of basketball is a saying there. So, I mean, it could happen. I feel like maybe somewhere in New York. I don't see the Nets, obviously, because of, the big three in Brooklyn. So, I don't know. I feel like the New York Knicks could be that team that really just goes for it because of the cap space that they have, man, honestly.
Yeah. And they're finally turned it around. It's no longer. I mean, they're the 4 seed this year. It's not like we're saying this 2 years ago, and it's like you can join one of the worst teams in basketball. Like they've turned it around. They've got some good things going. But Joshua, you have any other teams I know you're a Lakers fan, so don't say the Lakers.
Hey man, honestly, I don't want no parts of Kawhi, man. That dude weird, man. He can stay where he's at.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I don't know, man. He's good wherever he goes. That you're gonna get a special player. You're gonna get somebody that's hardworking. Someone that just he's a quiet guy, but he just know how to get the job done. So wherever he goes, he's gonna implement a surge to to his teammates. So yeah, I ain't really worried. You know me, Lake Show, man, all the way.
So I see another question. This is actually a really interesting one. This one's from Steven Yackley. And it says, is there a possibility of trading Tavon Young? And I think there is. Now I will break down the contract if people don't know. He's got a 5.9 or basically a $6 million cap hit this year. And then he's on contract for next year with a $9 million cap hit, massive cap hits. If we were to trade him after June 1st, which is the kind of deadline, same deadline with Julio Jones, June 1st. I don't know why that's the date, but it is. If we traded him, it would save $2.6 million in cap space, which, is definitely usable, especially if he was in a trade for Julio, but I don't think he would be in a trade for Julio just because he is a big cap hit and the Falcons are trying to lose cap hits. But we could trade him, especially after drafting Shaun Wade, who is a nickel cornerback, especially after we've played without Tavon Young most of his career. Anthony Averett was able to come in, and that shifted Marlon inside. But, overall, we could trade him. And then next year, just for the cap hits, if we release him next season before June 1st, we save about $6 million, which is really good. If we trade him, it's the same. And it's the same after release. So overall, but after 6-1, it wouldn't have any dead cap. So overall, I think it could definitely be done. It's just, I don't think he has very high trade value, unfortunately, is kind of the issue that I see with that. Just like, who wants a super injury prone, expensive corner? And cutting him won't save us any money. So we'd have to trade him, but I don't think it's super likely. But what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Oh, no, it's okay, yeah. But for me, you nailed it on the spot. I mean, Tavon Young, I've been, when I look at him on games, man, you can tell that man's like a playmaker when healthy, because, he was one of the best, in that year, he was one of the best slot corners in the NFL. But again, time and time again, I mean, he just suffers his ACL. I feel like, there is a possibility, man, we could really trade him. I mean, you look at Shaun Wade, if he would have kept playing that inside corner, you could have seen him as a top 15 pick in the draft, next year. So I think really everyone's excited to see what Shaun Wade could really do. I mean, also you look at maybe a Brandon Stephenson. I know that they're saying that to move him to safety. I know that there's been some of his versatility. But you could see Brandon Stevenson maybe go in that corner. Look at Anthony Averett as well, who played a lot of snaps when obviously Jimmy Smith and Tavon Young was unhealthy. Because his contract, it's not too bad when you look at it, right? His contract's not bad. It's just him being injury prone is the issue, right? And I feel like this year I feel like it's a possibility, but I don't think he will get traded. But I do believe that in Eric DaCosta's mind, he's thinking about that possibility just because of the injury prones of Tavon Young. I mean, they're getting ready. The Ravens, we've just had so many injuries in the freaking secondary. I mean, it's unreal. I mean, they signed Devontae Harris. Is that right? The corner? Is that his name? Devontae Harris or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
Desire Harris, something like that.
Yeah.
He went to I think he went to the Broncos.
Yeah. They signed him, and I don't know if they did sign Pierre Desir or something like that. That corner. They signed him, even though I think he didn't really play as much. He played more special teams. But I just feel like they are getting more ready, and they're getting more talent in that secondary and more depth. That I just feel like right now, I don't know about it, but in the future, honestly, man, I could see it, and I would hate to see it, but I could see it, man. I mean, it's a possibility.
Yeah. Joshua, anything to add?
You know me, man. I did love Tavon Young because he's a Maryland guy, went to Temple and everything. You know, nickelback corner. You know, he showed a lot of promise. But the simple fact that when you talk about possibly trading him, I don't see it happening. I mean, me personally, I don't remember the last time he played, and the last time he did play, he got hurt, right? So,
Yeah.
right there, that explains like this man really doesn't have any trade value. Now, if you find a way to, I don't know, send him to Kansas City. You know, if he played, like, say if he played,
Send him to Kansas City.
Hey, listen to me now.
Okay.
Waste their
Send him to
cap.
Kansas City though. If he was to play safety, that's the only way I can see him. You know, I've been saying it all this offseason with him and Jimmy Smith. You know, those type of guys are injury-prone guys. I mean, granted, you know, Jimmy Smith has played more downs than Tavon Young, but if you move those guys into that safety position, almost like I want to say Corey Graham. I mean, he wasn't injury-prone. You know, he was a good nickel corner, and then you know, I think he went to the Bears. They moved him to the safety position, and you know, he showed a lot of promise. So I mean, it's many different ways. You know, you can implement Tavon Young, but the thing is his durability. You know, his thing to stay healthy. So right now, he doesn't have any trade value. It wouldn't be worth us trading him. If he does not make it through the season, I'd rather release him and get that $6 million back. So that's how I feel about that one.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I see this from Steven Crocio, and he says, yeah, but, you know, Mavericks had it. Well, now they had a 2-0 lead against the Clippers, and both those wins were in LA, and they're set to play in Dallas. We were actually talking before we started the stream. I'm still confident in the Clippers. I believe in Kawhi Leonard, and I mean, he went out. I bet live during the game when the Clippers were down like 15 at the beginning of the game. I bet the Clippers would win outright because I just feel like they're not going to lose. And I think that this series could actually be the reason why they go all the way, just because coming back down 2-0, it's not something Kawhi's never done before. He did it against Milwaukee when he was in Toronto. And obviously it's a different story. He went back into Toronto. But, you know, it's definitely less fans, I believe, you know, in this thing. And come on, Kawhi's not a guy that's affected by fans. Paul George isn't affected by fans. He's just affected by crunch time. And he played really well, which could be. And Paul George is the streakiest player in the NBA. He's been off in recent playoff years, which is why he's so bad. But when he's hot, he's a top 3 player in basketball when he's on fire. And he was on fire last night. And that just makes it so much more fun to watch. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But looking at this, I see this question from Captain Gamer. You know, if Odafe away is coachable, how long does it take for those guys to learn the pass rush moves? Before I answer this, I want to do, you know, let's try and see how many likes we can get on this video or the stream. I'm just kind of curious to see how many we can get. But in terms of Odafe away, how long does it take for him to learn those moves? He can learn the moves quickly. It's whether or not he's able to pull them off consistently. You know, and what he ends up deciding is his go-to move. Because right now he's going to be able to get pressure based off of his get-off speed. That's just a thing. He's going to be able to use that chop and things like that just to get around everybody. But I feel like he'll probably end up being a player that utilizes strength more than finesse, which typically will take less time for him to develop. If he's trying to get a bull rush, it's going to take a lot less time than for him to develop a spin move or anything like that. So I think he could have it down in like 2 years to where he can somewhat do it relatively consistently. He's not going to be Dwight Freeney out there, but he can go out there and beat some guys. But his speed alone is going to give him an advantage because if you get off quick and, you know, he's got good strength, he can just push guys to the side and that'll be able to help him out. But when do you guys think he'll be able to start implementing some good pass rush moves?
I say year 3.
Year 3?
The reason I say that, you know, you can teach everybody all types of moves all day long. If you're not practicing, if you're not really utilizing them and practicing them against an actual person, then, you know, it's going to be null and void. And, like you just said, his first year, he's going to use his natural God-given ability. And I will say this. I did see his first step. It's a big first step. It is a quick as hell first step. And, I do feel like he's going to take a lot of tackles off guard. And they're not going to be able to, make that that kickback step quick enough by the time he's in the backfield. It may be a few, but not everybody's going to be able to, stay in front of him. That's the good thing about it. So I definitely feel like he's going to use his natural ability, his natural strength, almost like LeBron James. LeBron James, his rookie year. What did he do? He used nothing but his God-given natural ability to get to the bucket. Now we're looking at the man shooting a higher percentage at the three, and shooting better middies and stuff like that. Not saying it's going to take year 15 for Adafe, but those things come over time. Those things come over reps and live action. So I feel like once he starts letting the game slow down for him, he starts seeing how the technicians are in the tackles that he go against. He knows what to start doing. He knows how to take. He knows what steps to take, because anybody can use just natural ability, but it takes a great player to keep on building their craft and learning those finesse moves, which I feel like he will be for the Ravens for years to come.
Yeah, you're spot on. But I think for me, I think it could be in year 2, in my honest opinion. I could see year 3. Don't get me wrong. I honestly, when Odafe started off getting drafted, I was really half on it. I was like, in the middle. And then when I looked and I watched his tape, I looked everything around him. I mean, that man is, you look at him, he's athletic, right? He ran a 4.3, his 40-yard in his pro day. I mean, that's insane, right, for an edge rusher. I feel like when you look at him as a standpoint, the Ravens are really focusing a lot more on him as a rookie. They're focusing as like a edge rusher rather than a lot of you see all other players. Like, when you look at the OTAs, you look at the OTA videos that Ravens post, you see they're really teaching him the quick move, the first step, and a lot of drills, and it really helps out with him. You can tell his work ethic is one of the, I think, really good. You can tell he's driven. You can tell that he's really wanting to be this, become this good edge rusher, right? But I honestly believe, and I've been saying it also way before, I was one of those guys that I feel like if we could sign, and I've been saying this, but if we could sign Justin Houston, which I've been all on with, right? And he comes in to the Ravens, I think it also helped Odafe even more, because you look at Justin Houston, what a lot of people talk about is he can get to the quarterback. He has those pass rushing moves, and he could, he can even finish sacks, right? And what people have the issue with Odafe is, well, he didn't have production in college. Well, could he finish the sack, right? That's a lot of the issue. So if you bring in, let's say, a Justin Houston, right? I feel like it can help him even more. But let's say if they don't bring in Justin Houston, I honestly believe, man, in year 2, I think he could really, really get some pass rushing moves. And don't be surprised, man. I'm serious when I say this. Don't be surprised if you can see a double-digit sack, man. Double-digit sacks for him.
Oh, yeah. I would love that.
Be surprised.
Talk that good talk, man.
I'm serious, man. I'm serious, man. Don't be surprised, because
we got Skeptic in here. Shout out to Skeptic with the super chat. He says, "What's up, fellas? Away is a smart guy, so I think he will be impactful by year 2. Julio. Also, I would like to say Julio. Thank you so much, Skeptic. And I agree. I think that's something that is very underrated out of his game. He wants to work. He's new to the game. And I think that's very different than when you have a guy that is, I've been an edge rusher my entire life and I still can't get sacks at the college level. They're maybe they don't have that work ethic, but he is a guy that every time he's in a press conference, he's like, man, I've only been playing for 5 years. I know I need to learn stuff. And he wants to put that to his mind. And then he's working with a guy that is a phenomenal leader in Dalen Hayes. Dalen Hayes at Notre Dame was I believe he was nominated for the best person in college football, the equivalent of the Walter Payton Man of the Year to college or something like that. When you're working with Dalen Hayes, who's been playing the position for a while, Dalen's going to take him aside and just be like, hey man, you're doing so great. And it's not like Dalen's a better edge rusher, but he's going to be that almost leader for a way to just work with him and do all that type of thing. And that's why I really like the Dalen Hayes pick so much, is that not only will he, work hard for himself, but he's going to work hard for the team. He's going to work hard for Adafe. We saw when we saw the videos on training camp, we saw Away doing the drills, and then Dalen Hayes is out there, I don't know, shadow drilling, kind of like shadow boxing, doing it with nothing, but he's still working on that technique and skill. And that's the type of player that you want. So yeah, I think year 2 could definitely be when he's like impactful, not just based off of his speed. But even this year, I saw some people commenting. I saw somebody say that, we could get like 6 sacks from him in year 1. And I don't think that's crazy. I think that's definitely possible.
It's definitely doable.
Off of just his athleticism. And Wink's going to get him
6 sacks over a 1 year Away over someone like Matt Judon has been here for 5 years and get 6 sacks. I'm gonna put it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, of course. Got a lot of people that are new in here. What's going on, Warden? I see a lot of people in here.
Man. We need to address that.
What's up? I believe this is pronounced Malte. Hello from Germany. That's really cool that we got somebody from Germany in here. Really cool.
Love it. Beautiful.
Yeah, as a reminder, what we're going to talk about, whatever y'all ask us. It doesn't even have to be sports related. If y'all want us to talk about something else, go for it. But whatever y'all ask, we'll talk about. I see a question. This is from D Fraud. I know it says D Friend. That's wrong. It's D Fraud. He's wrong about everything. Mm-hmm. But he says, in your opinion, who on the Ravens is most likely to compete on season 26 of The Bachelor? Same answer that you brought up, D Fraud, last week when he asked how attractive was Marlon Humphrey, and I said an 11. It's going to be Marlon. I mean, if y'all are on Twitter, Marlon's all about. He's trying to get a girl. He was trying to get Zendaya for a little bit. Marlon could absolutely go on The Bachelor. I don't take that out of his repertoire. He could definitely do it. I wouldn't even be surprised if he did. But do you guys have a sleeper Bachelor contestant on the Ravens? Maybe John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh. maybe.
We saw that smirk.
Dude, maybe Eric DaCosta, bro. Maybe Eric DaCosta comes.
Yeah, even though he's married.
Even though he's married.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, hopefully Lacey's not in the chat. Like, what are you talking about?
It definitely gotta be Marlo. Marlo's just a people's person. He loves being who he is, man. So I don't see nobody else. If it was like Marquise or maybe Lamar, I feel like they'd be on VH1, something like that. Love from Florida, something like that. I don't know, man. Flavor Flav had his show back in the day.
I feel like Marlo one day is gonna be on like HGTV. Like he's just gonna we're on House Hunters International. We've got Marlon Humphrey looking for a house in some random place.
True. I could
see.
It's
funny that you say that because he just started. Because I saw him on his Twitter. He started beating up his house because he's about to actually create a studio for him and Ronnie Stanley because they're working on.
They got a podcast.
So
yeah. See, we got to get them on. Get a collab of the podcast. Also, I see something from Afonso. Hello from Portugal. Look at that. We got Portugal. We got Germany. What's going on, Afonso?
Let's go. Shout out.
I see Brandon Tillman. What's up, guys? How you doing? We're doing good. Having a lot of fun talking about whatever. Good. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Simi with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Simi.
Appreciate you, Simi.
Not related to Simi Fehoko, I'm going to assume, but I bring up Simi Fehoko way too much. But realistic prediction of our record for this season. I'm gonna say, oh man, we got to convert it to 17 games. But for me,
right.
I'm gonna say 13 wins. But anywhere between 11 and 15 would be my kind of reasonable predictions. But I'm going to say 13-4. What do you got, Joshua?
Hey man, I got between 13-4, 14-3. This is actually a good schedule. I mean, excuse me, NFL would say this when we got one of the toughest schedules. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But we got some teams that we're gonna battle. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a cakewalk, but I mean this is Ravens football. This is what we made to do. This is what these young men get paid to do. They get paid to play, a child's game, and we got some big kids out there that love to have fun, man. So just for them to be 80 strong at the voluntary OTAs, it speaks volumes. And I don't know about y'all, but when I hear something like that, it's like, dang, all 80 players at voluntary OTAs. Not only I feel like everybody's on a mission, they understand what's at hand. So I definitely feel like we're ready to go out there and get it, man. So I can see us having a big win column, maybe a couple losses, but I see us shaking back from it and making that run in the playoffs, man. I really feel like this is the year. Not just because I'm a Ravens fan, it's just because it's a lot of good positive vibes. Whether it is some negative things going on, they know how to hide it and they know how to keep their eye on the prize. So
and nobody's talking about us.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about us, the last 2 years. Lamar came out and went on that 6-1, 7-1 run and then lost in the playoffs. People were like, "This team's going to be crazy. Could they win a Super Bowl next year?" They went out, they won 14 games, and everybody was like, "All right, the next year, like last year, everybody was like Ravens, guaranteed, one of the best teams in the league. They could definitely win a Super Bowl." Them in Kansas City. And then this year, it's like we're like 8th in power rankings for some reason. Like half our season was destroyed by COVID. Like that's that type of thing. But Patrick, what do you got for the record?
Man, I honestly think it's going to be 13. I've said I think it's going to be 13 wins. I mean, it's really interesting because, you look at what people are saying in the AFC North. I mean, they're all talking about the Browns, right? They're talking about how their talent on that offensive side, and again, like, I just feel like this team, I really believe can really make it to the Super Bowl and honestly do it. I really do believe. I mean, we had the, protection on the offensive line. We fixed that interior, right, with, Kevin Zeitler at right guard. And then Ben Cleveland, which we can say that Ben Cleveland will be that starting left guard, right, And then at center would be Bradley Bozeman. I honestly like that, in the interior.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the tackles, Seth Redstone. I mean, Alejandro Villanueva. Honestly, not bad of an option. I know I loved Orlando Brown really a lot. I just loved his charisma and just loved how he's like really, you could tell he was wanting to really support Lamar. But now with him being in, the Chiefs, getting Alejandro Villanueva, a really good solidified tackle. I really like that. Weapons, beautiful. I think the weapons is decent. Rashad Bateman, we'll see what he could provide. Sammy Watkins, I think, is going to help that receiving core as a whole, in a way.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, this team, I really believe, can make it. It's just, I think it's going to depend on the passing attack, in my opinion. I think it's just going to base it on that, just because if we could get at least like an average passing attack with with how well we do in the run game, and like honestly, we're the best running team in football. I really believe we could actually beat the Chiefs. It's just, I think, I really do believe it, man. I really do. And this team can really win a Super Bowl. And it will be an amazing story. Imagine, Lamar getting that trophy. Everyone doubted Lamar, saying, "Oh, he can't throw. He can't do this. He can't improve himself." And imagine him winning that Super Bowl trophy. And it shows that, it's gonna be motivating. I think it's gonna be one of the motivating Super Bowls in NFL history, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion, with Lamar. Yeah.
What's going on, GMN stretch? Let's see here. Scrolling through. Oh, look at that. We got Simi back again, and he says, "I'm assuming." Simi, I'm making the assumption. I'm sorry if you're not male, but I said he. Simi says, "So Julio is a guarantee to come to us. We go crazy," or question mark. We go crazy in the postseason. I really do think Julio is coming. I just think Eric DaCosta. This has been the move. That the Ravens fans, we've been wanting And yes, we've made additions to the wide receiver core, but it's Julio Jones. And come on, we've seen all the things about like, oh, the Ravens don't want him. The Ravens do want him. The Ravens don't want him. Nobody knows. Okay, nobody knows what they want. And they said like if the price is right, well, the Ravens can actually pay a good price. They have a ton of draft picks in future years. I think they have 4 fourth-round picks next year. I know they have at least 3. Obviously we've got our first, our second, like we've got so many picks. We have the ability. There are players that we could restructure, like things like that. I really think it could happen. And even though people are like, oh, we shouldn't get Julio, we've upgraded our wide receivers already. What is wrong with getting Sammy Watkins and have him being a wide receiver 4? Like Bateman would be the 3. And then we have Sammy Watkins as the 4, and Sammy doesn't play a ton, but that's like kind of what he was in Kansas City. He was the 4th option. Sometimes, maybe the 3rd option sometimes, but like the Ravens went out and we did our thing. And that's how, we need to succeed is by taking that next step. Don't do the bare minimum of improvement. Do what's best. And Justin Houston, I believe, has he wants a lot of money is the issue with him. Because he's like, I've been producing more than all these guys that are getting paid a ton of money. And I've been producing every year for the last 10 years. Like, I want my money, pay me my dues. So for me, that's just why, I think we got to focus on improving that wide receiver core. And I got a lot of people did not like my suggestion of signing Le'Veon Bell. I got to tell you, nobody liked that idea. I still like it.
They don't understand.
I guess I'm the only person that wants Le'Veon Bell in Baltimore, but I think it could be a solid deal. Like
they don't understand offense, man. Come on, baby. Listen. First, I'm gonna address this question. I'm gonna give him my answers. I don't feel like it's guaranteed for Julio to come to us. One, I'm gonna say this. The only way it could be guaranteed for me, 1, if they get the deal done with Lamar Jackson. 2, if there is actual proven fact, if there is actual light, that there will be a passing game. So let's all keep these things in mind. We don't know how long we're getting this 32-year-old wide receiver. Second of all, we don't know which Julio Jones we're getting. Not saying that, we can't get him.
Any Julio Jones is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, even college Julio Jones.
Yeah,
I'll take any version. Give me Quintorris Lopez Jones. Give me non-Julio Jones. He's still going to be better than anybody we have.
Listen, I'm all for it, but you got to answer those 2 questions for me. Is G-Ro going to actually give us a passing game, and are we going to get this deal done before we sign Julio Jones? And then how long are we going to keep him? Because if you keep Julio Jones, I say for 3 years, that actually will help Lamar Jackson in his growth, as becoming a better passer. Because we're going to continue seeing Lamar keep on growing. I mean, he's 22, 23. So, he hasn't hit his limit. Sky's the limit for this young man. So it's until the deal is done with Lamar Jackson, I can't guarantee it, because that's too much moving around, too much restructuring contracts, things of that nature. Now, if they try to, do a package deal with, who knows, Miles Boykins, Tavon Young, maybe those 2 fourth-round picks, something like that, and, Atlanta say, hey, you know what, we tired of him, he's tired of us, all right, y'all can have him.
Yeah.
Sure, let's go for it. But, I just the strength of drafting Rashad Bateman, I guess we could say that shows, some type of commitment to the actual passing game. If we go all in on Julio, okay, I guess that will uplift my heart, saying, oh well, we getting Julio. Yeah, we actually gonna have a passing game this year, y'all, even though I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be another Dez Bryant situation, you know what I'm saying? That's all I don't want.
True. Yeah, I mean, I think for me personally, I don't see Julio coming to us. Don't get me wrong, I would love if Julio comes to us, right? But I personally don't see it. I like the team that I've been saying that I think should get Julio, which I know Ravens fans would hate, is the Titans. I know Ravens fans would hate that. But But I do think though a team that could really like get Julio, and I think could really do it, is the Patriots. Is another team that I know people have been talking about. But
Ravens fans don't want to hear that.
I want to hear that as well. But honestly, if Julio does come, I would love it because I think it could really help, Rashad Bateman really out. Imagine him going as the wide receiver 3 and going up against corners in the slot, because you're not going to go up against that, that best corner, right? As that wide receiver number 1. And it's just going to make him even more used to the game. So that when he becomes that wide receiver number 1, maybe in the future, if we keep Julio for like a, maybe a 1-year, 2-year thing, it will make Rashad Bateman way better than what people, I think,
look at what happened with Juju. Juju came in and played with Antonio Brown and dominated.
Yeah.
And then everybody thought oh my gosh, Juju's amazing. And Juju wasn't as good as what people thought, but he's still good. Don't get me wrong. Juju's good. I will say also, Julio Jones would wear number 1 in Baltimore. We got 1 spot left. Get rid of the double 1, put the single 1. I just thought about that, but shout out to Simi again with another super chat. Thank you so much, Simi. Says, and the Browns looking scary. What y'all think about us playing them so close in the last stretch? And I love it because that's a playoff atmosphere. We play them twice in 3 weeks. I think we go Browns, Pittsburgh Browns. They got the bye week. But that's playoff atmosphere, playoff football. It's going to be just as intense as the Monday night game last year. I'm a big fan of it. I know people think it's bad for the Ravens, but it's a good thing. Get us ready for the playoffs. I'm tired of playing. Oh, look, we play Jacksonville, the Raiders, the Bengals, and the Giants and the Jets in consecutive weeks. And it's wow, we blew them all out. The Ravens are hot. It's no, every team would blow all those teams out if they're a playoff team. So I like playing the tough competition down the stretch because if we lose, it's not the end of the world. But if we win, it just shows that we're ready for the playoffs. And let us play our difficult opponents down the stretch and let us get rid of the kind of easier light opponents early. But do you guys like it? What are you guys thinking?
I agree. I like it. I've been thinking this team really needs that competition. Just because because you look at them in the season, right? And you can see they're one of the best teams in the season, but then when they get to the playoffs, you see that it just shifts. It's you look at the Ravens, they just don't play what they usually do, running the ball, right? They were a running team in the season. Playoffs doesn't show it, right? Except, in the Titans game, they did have that running game in that playoff game where we won that game. But then when you get to the Bills, it didn't work out there. But I do say this, that with the Ravens versus Browns matchup, it could really determine who can win the division. Honestly, it really could. I know that don't count the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know, don't count them as much. Don't count them. They could do it, but I think it's that could really depend on the division, and also it really just can prepare this team. That imagine them going in the playoffs. They're going to go up against these tough teams. Well, you did it in the end of the season, so that what's the factor, and now you can build. You can end up not overestimating in that sense. So I think it's a really good thing, and I think this is the first season where I actually think that this could test the Ravens and see if they're a Super Bowl contending team or if they are not, and hopefully the Ravens are going to be that Super Bowl contending team.
Yeah. So just to make it clear, Week 12 we got Cleveland. Week 13, Pittsburgh. Week 14, Cleveland. Then you got Green Bay, Cincinnati, Los Angeles, and we finish off with Pittsburgh. Second half of the season, I would definitely say it's battle tested. And you know what? Honestly, I love it for the simple fact that I've been said, in previous shows, I'd rather for us to go 8-1, maybe 7-2, depending on how the Indianapolis Colts game go. But we work out all those kinks in the first half of the season. Take that week 8 bye, come back stronger, and we learn about ourselves. We growing. Next thing you know, from week 10 to 18, all right now, it ain't gonna be no cakewalk. If you really want to be in the playoffs, if you really want to be in the second season of the NFL, this is the time to show up and show out and put up for real. So, those games, those AFC North divisional games, I definitely feel like they could be the make or breakers. Cleveland's now starting to put it together slowly but surely. Do I feel like, it's going to come down to the wire? Heck yeah, it's AFC North football. Come on now. Even, when the Steelers was rolling, we still came out and played. So, these games, like everybody's saying, man, it's going to make us better. And if we can win out, I feel like we're going to be that team to win the Super Bowl. Everybody will be like, everybody's been saying, watch out for Baltimore. Watch out for Baltimore. Give them another year. Give them another chance. When it comes to the power rankings, either we always end up like in the top 10 for the past 2 years. And I mean, hey, people starting to recognize this, even though I don't like it. I'd rather for us to go under the radar. But hey, we doing big things. You scoring now. We scoring. Blowing teams out. We're gonna be on notice. It's not the way that a Patrick Mahomes would do it, or a Tom Brady would do it, or Russell Wilson. It's the Baltimore way of how we get the job done. So I definitely feel like if we stay true to our identity, be who we are, and play good ball on all on special teams, defense, and offense. Excuse me. Hey man, Super Bowl, here we come. Yeah. So I love it.
Hopefully.
Absolutely. Think about the University of Alabama. Mm-hmm. What do? They play the SEC all year. They get to the college football playoff. Wow. They played good teams. They're ready for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What has happened every time? Well, actually, besides the first time, a Pac-12 team has made it to the college football playoff. Pac-12 is not good. I'm a fan of Stanford for people that don't know. I'm a fan of Stanford. The Pac-12 isn't good. Stanford isn't that good. Oregon isn't that good. But, Washington's recently made it. The Ducks have kind of been in the conversation. They get to the college football playoff. They play against an Alabama, a Clemson. They get throttled because they've been playing light competition. And that's what's been happening. Not saying if they played tough competition all year, but you look at what the Ravens have done. They play cakewalk schedules, and then they're like, oh, now you have to get back to playing at the level. It's like they lower down to their opponents, even though they're winning by 30. Winning by 30 doesn't prepare you for, going into difficult games in January. We got another super chat here from Skeptic Goat. Thank you so much, Skeptic. Basically asking, what defensive player are you most worried about the Ravens facing this year? The fake Joker, what's his name? Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Yeah. Or Devin Bush are yours. Aaron Donald. We play the best player in football. I'm always afraid of Aaron Donald. I hate playing against Aaron Donald. He may go down as the greatest defensive player of all time. It'll take a lot to pass J.J. Watt, but what he has done, he is the most dominant defensive player I've ever seen. It's absolutely ridiculous. Aaron Donald, he can do everything. However, we did play against him very, very well the last time we did it. Hopefully our offensive line, maybe we get to see Big Sexy pick up Aaron Donald, throw him into the dirt and sit on him like a lawn chair. That's what I'm hoping for.
Plays, man.
It's unlikely, but that would be the scariest guy for me. But, just other guys. TJ Watt is really tough. He is the only player that I've ever seen play against Lamar Jackson very well. The way he's able to diagnose the read option, he's able to take both lanes away. And yes, Devin Bush is a monster. His sideline to sideline ability is amazing. But TJ Watt is the one that is the only guy I've ever sseen do it, consistently be able to force Lamar, even when he hands the ball off or keeps it. It puts him in a tough position every time. And so TJ Watt, we do have to play him twice. And then Aaron Donald. I'm very scared of Aaron Donald. I'm not afraid of the fake Joker. Maybe we could call him the Jester because he's a joke. But I don't know. What do you guys? Who are you guys afraid of?
I think what you can go with. What do you think? I think it could be Khalil Mack. Because I know we're gonna take on.
We play the Bears.
We're
playing all the good players. Dang.
I think Khalil Mack could do something there, but again, because you don't know, maybe he will line up. Because I think he couldn't even line up on Alejandro Villanueva. If it's Ronnie Stanley, I think maybe Ronnie could try his. I think he could do his thing. But yeah, Khalil Mack could be really scary because people don't recognize that he's not just this pass rusher, man. I mean, sometimes he can drop back coverage now and he can do some damage a little bit. So,
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Khalil Mack is a person that people are not talking about that I think could be really scary against us. But I think to be honest, man, this team. I think really when you look at it, this team is so fit. Like I think what they're playing is they want to be that physical team. They just want to bully you. They just want to make, bruises. I feel like the Ravens, they're trying to get those type of players so that, when they go up against these amazing defenders, especially in the interior defensive line, it's going to be more, they're going to have to put more effort into trying to stop, I think, Lamar in this run game and just, trying to just stop him in general. So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
One thing about me, I'm not really scared about nobody in the front seven because at the end of the day, that's where the real men fight. And we got some real men on the offensive line, and so I'm gonna take it to where we've been struggling. Pass game. My two that I'm a little worried about is a healthy Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward for Cleveland Browns. Depending, who's our number one and number two wide receiver. Can they one get that separation? Two, can they catch the ball? Three, can they put them on skates? Can our wide receivers, make these corners respect them? Because at the end of the day, if we play the teams that we have played against, heck, they got some of their corners coming down for the blitz and not respecting the pass game. So, G-Ro, if you ever listen to TTB Media, I want to see a balanced offense.
Please.
Hollywood.
Please.
I need you to get in your bag. You've been working out with your cousin and all that. You got the footwork. You can dance. Do your thing. Rashad,
yeah.
I see lights. I see the flashes. I'm not expecting a lot, but and I'm not asking you to be Justin Jefferson. I'm asking you to be you. I'm asking you to catch the ball, and I'm asking you to get us in the positive yards. So we definitely when we played against the Patriots, man, it upset me. They ran I formation, and then on top of that, you had C.J. Jackson going stride for stride with my fastest wide receiver. It infuriated me. So I need to see, I need to see that upgrade. I need to see that, that development, that off-season workouts come into gameplay. So those two guys, I'm really a little worried about.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I mean, that Patriots game was just bad, throughout. I mean, they had, Matt Skura, they had Lamar in shotgun. I mean, the fudging whole time instead of putting under center when it was just raining down, pouring down, Yeah. And I feel like, and I agree, man. Greg Roman, I think, has to get this done this year. I think this is the year if he wants to prove that he could be this offensive coordinator for the Ravens, because you don't get in mind, you have Hollywood Brown, you have a speedster wide receiver, you have Rashad Bateman, who's a physical, can really get those, be a red zone guy, get those jump balls. You have Sammy Watkins, who could be in the middle of the field, right? And to top it all off, I mean, you have a guy that I've been saying all the time that I've been excited is Devin Duvernay. I've been saying this, man, every time I watch this guy, he gets positive yardage. I mean, you give it to him and the ball, he's going to do something with it. But all the time, they just give him jet sweeps. And it's like, come on, get him some, do some route combinations. Do something, unique with Devin Duvernay. I think this kid can really be a nice, all over the field type of player for the Ravens. I really said that,
Yeah.
And Tylan Wallace, you're going to add him. I mean, people, in training camp, they've been saying this kid is physical. This kid is a spark. You look at them talking about Rashad Bateman. They're saying he's a smooth route runner, right? He's a smooth guy. But a lot of people are talking, to be honest, in my opinion, more about Tylan Wallace because of how of a spark he is. And I just feel like this is the year where Greg Roman just needs to get this done. He just needs to get this done. I mean, you have so much talent right now. I know you want to add Julio Jones. And if you add Julio Jones now, I mean, if he can't get this done with Julio Jones, just I'll be done, honestly.
I've said it before. I'm confident he will. I think I made a video on it. People weren't super happy with it, but, it's my opinion. Simi, again, man, is this the better Simi than Simi Fehoko? Potentially. I mean, it's up there. It has become a conversation now. But Simi asked, should I put Tim Tebow on my fantasy team? What if he is a sleeper?
He is going to be a sleeper.
If Tebow makes the roster, you could put him on your fantasy team. I guarantee he will be overdrafted. I'm a massive fantasy football fan. He will be overdrafted. Big name always gets overdrafted. Oh, yeah. And I guarantee there's going to be some Florida Gator fan or in your league, or maybe they're just really religious, or they know nothing about football, and they're like, "Oh, Tim Tebow, I know who that is," and they're going to go out there. If anybody's seen The League, one of the best, show. I don't even know if it's not. Maybe it's technically a sitcom. I don't know, comedy show. If you got an Andre in your league, he's going to be taking Tim Tebow, like how he drafted Brett Favre when he had already retired. It's just the big name. If you want a tight end sleeper, there's plenty of guys that you could go with. Shout out the weapon, Josh Oliver. Don't draft Josh Oliver.
Josh Oliver.
But look at guys like, I think Mo Alley Cox could be very good in Indianapolis playing with Carson Wentz, who absolutely loves his tight ends. Yeah. And Mo Alley Cox is not a big name.
He's 6'7".
You got to go for the smaller name guys. Don't go with the Zach Ertz or the unless you go for a top tight end. Don't worry, Joshua hasn't left. Joshua's just muted right now. Overall, here, look at this. I'm going to add in, let's get an overlay. Boom, look at that. Overall, what we got is when you overdraft players for the name, it doesn't typically work out. It's typically a very unfortunate situation. So I wouldn't draft him just because somebody's going to overdraft him. He's going to go way too early in leagues. And that's just my opinion on it. But we got another super chat. Thank you so much, VV Abdul Wahed. And look at that. Joshua's back. I'm going to take this off. It looks really weird. And I believe that's Canadian. I honestly don't know. I haven't been streaming long enough, but thank you so much, VV. Says, I have a $500 bet on the Ravens winning a Super Bowl in the next 3 years. What are my chances of winning that bet? Well, I have like a $10 bet that I bet like a month ago on the Ravens to win the Super Bowl this year. But I would say, I'm going to say a 40% chance on that. I would love to say higher, but with the uncertainty of the Ravens right now, I think 40% is still really good odds on a team to win the Super Bowl, in the next 3 years. That's probably the second highest in the league behind the Chiefs, in my honest opinion. So the Chiefs have about a 50% chance in my opinion. So I would say 40% chance. I'm curious, just comment what your odds are on that. I wonder how much you win. If that bet is if the Ravens do win the Super Bowl, how much do you win on that? I'm curious. Hopefully it wasn't just a straight up, bet. That would be an unfortunate, odds.
Damn.
But I'm curious what the odds are on that bet are. But what do you guys think? What are the odds the Ravens win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years?
Man, there's so many factors to put into that. For the simple fact, we gotta know who's getting re-signed. We gotta know who's still here, who we adding onto the team, and how everybody's growth is. So I mean, I'll still say I'll go with the 40% for right now. If they make the extension on Lamar Jackson, which I feel like they will, I could say by what is this 2021? I'll say by 2024. I can see us because as long as we know who our quarterback is, and I feel like Lamar Jackson by that time he's going to be even better. Maybe G Rose out and T Martin and Keith Williams takes over. I definitely can see that being a big splash, big opportunity, and I feel like they're going to bring a lot of creativity to Lamar Jackson. So I'll say 40%.
Yeah, spot on. Literally, at the top of my head when you said that question, it was 40% for me.
Okay.
I just think, this team, when you look at it in a factor, again, I agree. Free agency, who we're getting, and also in the draft. Who are we getting in the draft, right? And then honestly, also, I think when this team, you also got to look at the coaching staff, right? You also want to know, maybe do we have some coaching staff changes, right? I'm just saying, I don't know, right? For let's say if there's like a change in, like, say, the offensive coordinator, maybe there's a change in defensive coordinator. Don uh, Wickerdale, who a lot of people thought should have been a head coach for another team, right? Thought a lot of people should have been a head coach for another team. Surprisingly, didn't get it. So that could be something in 3 years. And I think he's an amazing defensive coach. He can draw up, I think, decent plays. So I think 40% is a realistic. I really do, and I've said it that I think this Ravens team, I think, should get at least one Super Bowl. I think it should get at least one, maybe two, but I think at least one is what we could say for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And supposedly I nailed the pronunciation. So,
let's go.
Round of applause for me. I'm pretty bad at pronouncing names. So, I'm glad I was able to pronounce that properly.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think 40%. I mean, we all had the same numbers. So that's pretty interesting. Here's a question from Aiden. Also, we're just kind of chilling. Like the video if you guys are enjoying, try and see how many likes we can get on the stream. But here's a good question. Do you think Keith Williams or T. Martin will take Roman's spot this year for OC?
Yes.
I don't think either.
It could.
I think Greg Roman will keep his job. I have said it in videos before. I'm confident Greg Roman will do a very good job this season. I actually think the passing offense will be significantly improved. But if Greg Roman were to get fired, one of them would take over, and I think it would be T. Martin because of his past as not only being a quarterback at University of Tennessee, but also being a former offensive coordinator at the University of Southern California. I almost said South California, and I was like, no, that's not it. USC history and being an offensive coordinator for, I believe it was overlapping with Sam Darnold. And Juju and Michael Porter Jr. and all the guys that they've had. I wonder if he coached Buck Allen. I'm actually very curious if he was the OC over there with Buck Allen back in the day.
I remember that.
Not 100% sure on the overlap and how long he was the OC there, but my assumption would be T. Martin takes the job because of his past with it, and Keith Williams. I feel like you wouldn't, if you make Keith Williams, then you need a new pass game coordinator, and it would be weird to switch two people, and it would create too much of a mix, in my opinion. It's like I listened to a podcast or a YouTube video. This was a while ago, and somebody basically said, if you lose your right tackle on the offensive line or your left tackle, if he goes down for an injury, don't switch your right tackle to your left tackle spot. Because then what happens is you downgrade at left tackle, but then you also are downgrading at right tackle. And so by switching two things out, rather than just being like, okay, we're just worse at left tackle, you can keep one thing already, keeping it doing what it's doing. If we switch both, it'll just cause more confusion and chaos. Even though part of the same team, like, it could just really mess things up. So I think just make one smaller move would be better for trying to just keep it, because we're trying to win a Super Bowl. If we were the Bengals and we fired our coach, do whatever you want. I mean, you're not trying to win a Super Bowl, so having it work perfectly in the first year is not required. For us, it's pretty necessary that we got to have it working pretty quickly. So that would be my take on it. But what do you guys think?
For me, I think it could possibly be, because if Greg Roman doesn't do well at the offensive coordinator, I could see easily T. Martin being the one. I've been saying when we got Keith Williams and T. Martin, I was really stoked. I'm not gonna lie, I was pumped. When I looked at their resumes, you see them. They've teached guys like Devontae Adams. They teached guys like Tyreek Hill. They also teach Sammy Watkins, and now Sammy Watkins with the Ravens as well, and like Juju Smith-Schuster. I think they also teached at the time Marcus Lee also.
Yep.
In the thing, and they've really have a good resume with good receivers at the times. And I really love those two guys. I think they could really elevate this Ravens wide receiver core, and also help them, make new.
Oh, Patrick disconnected.
Oh,
Don't worry, we'll get it back at some point, but we can continue on the stream. Let's see here. There's plenty of questions.
Well, while you look up, I was about to say, while you look up another question, I'll give my answer.
Oh yeah. All right, Patrick's back, but Joshua, continue on your answer.
my bad.
Good to have you back, bro. Good to have you back.
My bad.
I definitely feel like either T Martin or Keith Williams would be. I can see it being an upgrade to as an offensive coordinator. But one thing I like to say, I think I said it in the previous episode. The reason they brought Sammy Watkins is to help Greg Roman keep his job. When you bring in a guy that is familiar with the coaching, he can start being in other players' ears. Like, hey, man, look, in my first 3 seasons, I did go about 11. I did get about 1,100 something yards. When I was here at Buffalo, you gotta trust. You gotta trust the process with Greg. And by Sammy Watkins taking that initiative to go out to Arizona with the guys, I know he had to had some type of conversation with Lamar, because I know Lamar and others are probably a little frustrated because we see the videos being shown at practice. We're like, oh, we actually have passing plays, but when it comes on Sunday, we do X, Y, and Z. So don't think we don't want to do this. It's almost like with the Michigan Wolverines back in the day when they got Chris Webber, Juan Howard, and Derrick Rose.
Sorry, Michigan fans, I had to do it.
When you bring guys that's familiar with each other, that's played with each other, that know they could be great, why not go to the same? Why not put yourselves in the best situation? So with Sammy Watkins being there, having Greg Roman as his head coach again, having ties with was it T Martin, or does he have ties with T?
I think it's Keith Williams. I think it's Keith Williams.
Yeah,
having ties with him and stuff like that. That information starts to trickle down to your teammates, and your teammates will start listening into you and maybe start trusting them guys more. So if G-Row does not give us a balanced offense, I could see the moves happen, but they're all in on G-Row. I guess G-Row, he's not giving us no smoke screen and saying that this is going to be a different dynamic, more offense. I'm looking for it. So hey man, let's get to it.
Yeah, and also Sammy Watkins had his best year. I mean, his best year of his season with Greg Roman as an offensive coordinator in Buffalo. So that's also a thing to add there as well. So hopefully, maybe it could. Again, I'm not keeping our high hopes up, but it could. We'll see. So that's another thing you can point out there.
Yeah. I see a comment from Don C saying, TTB, do this live more often. It's good, man. Do a Wednesday night. So no other shows are on that night, for more content. I don't want to stream too much is kind of the issue. I know, we got the Purple Rain podcast. They stream Mondays and Thursdays. I don't want to stream too much. This is so much fun, everybody. Joshua, we have a lot of fun doing this. Maybe in the future, I know, one thing I'll say for y'all that, are just randomly watching, I am going to start up streaming, probably on Twitch, just not on this channel because I don't want it to overload the content on this channel. But if anybody ever wants to join in on those streams, I'll talk Ravens absolutely whenever. I mean, I talk Ravens every single day. So yeah, that's a lot of fun, but we can definitely go for a little bit more. But we should definitely see what people, let's get as many questions as possible in the chat, just so then we can have, some stuff to go over. But yeah, I will start streaming on Twitch, and I'll be playing random games. I play a ton of Madden. I play Madden maybe more than any casual Madden player ever. I play a lot of Madden. So that type of stuff. I play a lot of random games. So yeah, don't worry. I'll stream, but it won't be on this channel, and it won't be like directly like Ravens questions, but I'll just talk Ravens the whole time if people want. But it won't be on this channel because I'm not trying to overload it with streams. I like making the single videos. But thank you so much. Don't worry. We love doing them. So I'm glad that Joshua and I decided to do it because it's so much fun talking and getting, because we can only come up with so many ideas for things. Y'all bring us so many new things. But let's see here. Here says starting offense for the preseason from General Baum. Thoughts on anyone who shouldn't play more than 20% of the time, who could be standouts from these 3 games? Starting offense, it'll change every game. I think that's tough, but I think we should focus on the standouts because those are the guys that we should absolutely look after. We've had a lot of former standouts, especially at the wide receiver position. Shout out Tim White, who broke his hand in one of the games, but he was a baller. Quincy Adebayo, another former preseason legend. We didn't get preseason last year, so we didn't get to see it. But I got to go with McCrary, the running back, the undrafted free agent running back. He is going to be a lot of fun to watch. He'll probably only play in the 4th quarter. I'm really hoping for him to make the team. He's got his cuts are so quick. He's explosive. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's going to be a kind of breakout candidate for me. And that's what I'm thinking, because it's tough to tell breakout candidates with like the secondary and things like that, unless you get like a pick or a pick 6. And it's just very difficult to, judge whether or not they'll get a pick or a pick 6. So offense is just a lot easier. But for me, I'm going with McCrary as my sleeper. But let's be honest. I want to see, we better get at least one Lamar Jackson on the field, bomb to Dante Silencio, just to bring it back. I got to see it. It's got to happen. They got to let Lamar do it. That's all I want to watch. I want to watch a Dante Silencio bomb. I don't know if he'll be a sleeper. He probably won't catch it, but it would be so much fun to watch former high school teammates throw a bomb, because I only know of one pair of high school teammates in the NFL right now, which would be Odell and Jarvis. But that's not quarterback, wide receivers. So, and they went to the same college, so it's a little bit different. I think that would be my thing. But who do you guys got? Who are your sleepers? Or standouts, not sleepers?
That's a tough one.
Sleeper, if we do not sign Justin Houston, I'm going with Mr. Mr. Last Chance U, Sean Rivers.
Okay.
They actually been talking about. They've been talking like a lot of good talk. I think he got number 56, and they say he's actually shown a lot of promise. He was always one of those high motor guys. Even though he went to that community college and was on that show, he did show out at he went to Mississippi State. Yeah, I think he went on to Mississippi State, and he proved himself that he was a starter. He was able to get out there, get the quarterback. So I definitely like to see that transition over to the NFL and, actually make a name for itself and not be known just for the show and everything like that.
I mean,
I like that one.
That's a tough one. I think, I don't know if it's like a, like a standout. I don't know if it's like, because I think Darius Washington, the safety out of TCU, I think could be a little good standout. Because I know a lot of people were saying that he was maybe one of the best undrafted signings out of all. Yeah. So a lot of people thought he should have been drafted, but he ended up being undrafted. So it could be interesting to see what he could do. I think he could really be a good player, but it's just hard because you already have Deshaun Elliott and Chuck Clark. I mean, again, the future we don't know of, but hey, Darius Washington, he could surprise in the preseason. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I like them coming out.
He'd be a fun one to watch. He'll be around the ball. He'll be making big hits. Honestly, he'll probably be similar to what Deshaun Elliott brought when we first got to see him. The issue is, I'm sorry, Ravens fans. He's not a part of this team's future. I really don't think he is.
Deshaun's out of here?
I think he
Deshaun
is.
Elliott?
I don't think he is.
So you take him over Chuck Clark? So you take Chuck Clark over Deshaun?
Absolutely. Chuck Clark, he's the only guy right now that can take the mic. Deshaun Elliott will be up for a contract next year. And for me, we need a free safety. We don't have a safety that can go out there and get a lot of picks and bake the quarterback, and that's what we need. We got enough guys that can force fumbles, and Chuck Clark can play in the box. So let me get some Brandon Stevens.
I was just about to say that.
Brandon Stevens back there, free safety. Give me some Ardarius. Yeah, Ardarius Washington could come in and be our free safety, but I think one of those guys is our safety for the future just because it's very disappointing. I'm a huge fan of Deshaun Elliott, but he just doesn't really fit in with the team. Like if Chuck Clark wasn't the leader that he is, if he wasn't the signal caller, then I would take Deshaun Elliott over him.
Yeah.
But unless all of a sudden this year we have a guy that's on the field every snap, because I think eventually, I've said it a few times, our future green dot will be Dalen Hayes, but Dalen Hayes this year will not be on the field a ton. So he can't be the green dot.
So interesting. So I have a question for you then. So do you think if, let's say, Chuck Clark doesn't have the mic, do you think it could be like a Patrick Queen or maybe like a Malik Harrison that could really do that? Or do you think that's just far out for you?
I think it could be Malik. I think it could definitely be Malik Harrison.
I think Malik over Patrick, in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I think Malik Harrison is a really interesting. Because I was a big fan when he was there, and because I think he complements so perfectly to Patrick Queen in a sense that you look at Patrick Queen, he's going to be all over the field, but Malik Harrison is the guy who's going to just tackle you, right? In that playoff game, right? With Derrick Henry, everyone's game playing to stop Derrick Henry in the run, and Malik Harrison, he did some plays. He did some good plays in that playoff game. So I honestly really like Malik Harrison a lot. I'm hoping that he has a good, good second year. Second year, yeah, or is it
second year? Yeah,
good second year. I think it's a player that no one is talking about in the Ravens that I think could really, really be a stud. I'm one of those guys that love Malik Harrison. I love Malik Harrison.
Yeah. Joshua and I are also big fans of Malik Harrison. Both of us have talked about him taking the mic eventually. Yeah. I don't think it'll be this year, however, just because you look at what Chuck Clark has done and said, and he's so impressive. You look at what he did in his interview, in the press conference that he had. It was about 2 or 3 minutes long, and he was like, and somebody asked him about Ardarius Washington, and he was like, yeah, from what I saw in the practice tapes, I really liked what he saw. And I think it was Ryan Mink who asked the question. I can't remember exactly who. And he was like, you watched the rookie mini camp tape? And he was like, yeah, I'm trying to know what these guys are about. I'm trying to learn everything I can about my new teammates.
Yeah.
And that's the type of commitment and like leadership that he brings. Like that type of game study. We don't have anybody like that. In terms of that level of IQ on the football field. Like Chuck Clark can't really cover that well. He's not an amazing tackler. He's decent. He can play in the box. Yeah. He's just very similar to Deshaun Elliott. Deshaun Elliott's probably better in coverage, but he doesn't have that IQ. And for me, unless we get somebody to take the mic, he's just got to stay. And it could be another 2 or 3 years before we get somebody to come. We haven't drafted a Fred Warner, who I believe got the mic in like his second career game in San Francisco or something ridiculous like that. Like he came in and fully stepped up. Patrick Queen wasn't that guy. And Malik right now, I just don't think he sees the field enough. He's not an every down guy yet, which is unfortunate. He should be. But we're going to be subbing in like LJ Forte again this year. And, we got a lot of linebackers that we go through and a lot of packages that he isn't utilized in. So that's kind of my thinking on it. But I don't know. I mean, I hope he does. I hope he takes the mic. I hope Dalen Hayes takes the mic.
Yeah.
But we'll find out.
Yeah.
We will find out.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So let's see if we can go for maybe one more question in the chat if anybody wants to ask. One more question we can go over. It doesn't have to be even football related, but let's see here. I will say I thought of something that I think, to talk about the title of this video. I'm pretty sure it's titled like Talking Julio Jones Trades. Mm-hmm. And I saw somebody earlier talk about it. I can't remember who it was, but I think that if we want to trade for Julio, it's going to have to include a wide receiver, and it won't be Boykin or Prochet. Really? I think we trade Devin Duvernay.
Really?
And who I love Duvernay. But think about his value. What is he going to do on the Ravens? He's our wide receiver 4 or wide receiver 5 right now. Like, he's not seeing the field, and he should see the field. He deserves to see the field.
Yep.
Atlanta would be able to use him without Julio.
Yes, man.
And yeah, it was you, KJ. Yes, I do remember that. Yes. Shout out to KJ. KJ was the one that brought it up. But, like, I think KJ said second and Duvernay. I think that would absolutely be a deal that the Ravens would do because we don't use Duvernay. If we use Duvernay, no way would I trade him. But we don't, and it's very unfortunate that we don't. But we would use Julio, and come on, a second-round pick and a wide receiver we're not using for one of the best receivers ever.
That's true. I mean, if that would be cheap. If that is a possibility, yeah. I mean, I would love the Julio. I would be sad with Duvernay because I've always, like, every time I watch a game, bro, I just scream at the TV saying, bro, why can we not give this man the ball? I really am so big of a Duvernay fan. But, if that happens, I think, it makes sense. I've said that Miles Boykin should be the offer that the Ravens should give to Atlanta, just because I think even though Miles Boykin doesn't have the effort, right? We all say that he doesn't have the effort when the Ravens throw a jump ball to him. It's showing that playoff game, right, where that led to an interception. But I just feel like Miles Boykin, if he's in a new system, right, new team, new scenery, right, in Atlanta, it could maybe make him have a positive impact.
Yeah.
And I think you could just say, you put in Miles Boykin, you can maybe give them second round pick. First, I wouldn't be mad if they give up first because it's Julio, right? But I think if you give him a second, maybe a third, and then Miles Boykin, if they want maybe a 6th round pick, I think that's the trade that should be, in my honest opinion.
That's not that bad. I think that's a solid offer. Opinion. I just think Duvernay has more value because he's got more time on his contract.
Totally.
And he's better right now. Joshua, what do you think about Duvernay in a Julio
I would
deal?
say let's do it for the simple fact of, he could be utilized as an actual wide receiver. If we really want to get if we want to start throwing people, let's throw Justice Hill. Atlanta Falcons do like speedy guys, and he never got his chance as a running back, playing for us. And also, his mind worked too fast. His mind was faster than his feet. He never let the game slow down for him. So maybe in an Atlanta system, maybe in a different environment, it could be a better situation for him as well. And Miles Boykin's head is in the clouds. It don't matter where he goes or who he's with. He's going to be lost in the sauce. He shows all his light. All his light is shown during practice, man. And you barely see him really show out during games. If he does show out in games, it's always the tight ends route. It's always the tight end routes. That's our flex tight end. So he's not listed as a wide receiver anymore. So,
preseason. Remember in preseason the first year. Miles Boykin, he showed some promise, right? In that preseason. Yeah. If you remember that, and then after the season, he never showed it. So I could see that, but it's so sad for me with Miles Boykin, man, because you looked at him coming out and he just was a great specimen, right? You look at his attributes, you look at his physicality, a wide receiver at Notre Dame. You saw this kid that has so much talent, right? In the world, it's just he hasn't been it, and it just sucks because you could have seen the potential if he would have reached it, and he could have been one of a great red zone target for Lamar, but Lamar just doesn't have trust in him. In my opinion, just doesn't have trust in Miles Boykin. You know, he has trust in
Yeah.
like Hollywood because he has that chemistry, right? Because I feel like Lamar, if you want to have trust with Lamar, I feel like you have to hang out with him honestly outside of the field.
You got to
right?
be from Florida.
Gotta be from I mean, you maybe gotta be from Florida. It could be possible too, but
So we got Sammy.
and that's
Sammy
why you
from
got
Florida.
Sammy. That's true,
Yeah.
but but I feel like you need to have a personal connection with Lamar, honestly, outside of the field, and I think that translates in the field. And I feel like Miles
Absolutely.
Boykin never had that, so that's just me.
I got somebody said, shout out to Shelton Partlow saying you say some whack stuff. Yeah, because I don't base my opinions off of articles that I read, and that's something that I pride myself in. Is I do try and come up with my own stuff, and that's and I try and do that because it's more enjoyable. Y'all can hear the standard Ravens takes at BaltimoreRavens.com or ESPN or I mean, I guess nobody reads it anymore, but Ebony Bird, because they got Jets fans writing Ravens stuff. But yeah, I try and come up with my own stuff. So yeah, I do say some whack stuff, but I believe it, and I came up with my opinions on my own, and that and if somebody else gave me the idea, I do give credit to that. So overall, we had like 58 viewers in here. Now we're at like 53. That's more than we had last time. So thank you, everybody. While you're in here, I want to know. I highly doubt it. I really highly doubt it. But is anybody in this stream an original listener to the podcast? And
nice.
that means prior to the YouTube channel ever being created, did you know who we were? It wasn't a lot of people. It's not like we were a big podcast that came over to YouTube. I'm wondering if anybody ever listened to the show before. I highly doubt it. But I'm wondering, just curious,
Who's really part of the family?
Who's an OG? Because it's a lot of people. It wasn't a ton of people, but I see. General Bomb saying, sadly, no, found you guys after the draft. Because the podcast, fun trivia fact. When did we start it, Josh? It was off season in,
I want to say like June or July of last year. Literally.
Yeah. So we've been doing it for a while. So we've had more takes. So that's just kind of random. But random trivia. I was just curious. I highly doubted it. Seems like people say.
Man. It's all good. We love the fact that y'all here now with us, man. And because y'all here, we gonna keep doing what we doing. And I'm gonna say this: big shout out to McConnell, man, for posting out all the content that he do. So we wouldn't be nowhere without y'all because you guys are his motivation of why he keeps on posting all the content he do. I'll be at work sometimes and I see another video. So man, I love it, man.
Yeah, I see. KJ says, nah, Orlando Brown trade video was my first time watching. Which one? I've had like 6 of them. I talked about Orlando Brown Jr. He's a guy, talked about him a lot. But yeah. Somebody said, found you guys from an Engraven. As an example vid, I'm assuming that's from a suggested video. But, shout out to Engraven.
Man.
We were over on Engraven show last week, or maybe it was earlier this week. I don't know. It's Saturday. I don't know how the weeks end and work, but if y'all got any more questions, you can definitely ask. We could probably do maybe one more. We'll end this one at like an hour and a half, a bit longer, but this one, I mean, y'all are still in here. This has got 56 people in here right now, which is absolutely crazy.
Likes, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Oh man, look at that. Balling right there. More than last time. So look at that. Really cool to see. So thank you everybody for, watching, but we can definitely go over another question if anybody has them. Could be about basketball or football or, hold on, let me check.
I wanted to ask you guys something. I have a question for me just to say, you look at Lamar, right? You look at Lamar Jackson. What do you think? I know that he's been improving his game. What do you think he still needs to improve on for this season? Like, what do you think he really needs to improve on? I just want to ask because I think there's one thing, but I just want to know what you guys think.
For me, it's accuracy. Lamar can throw. That's not saying he can't throw, but for me, it's just he's still not that accurate of a quarterback. He's more accurate than Cam Newton. He's more accurate than I'm trying to think of inaccurate quarterbacks in the NFL. Like he's more accurate than Vic ever was. Like things like that. He's not that inaccurate, but it's just he has some throws where it's just like maybe it's a wobbly throw. Or it's a bit underthrown and things like that could just be tuned out. I mean, he's young. That was something that we knew. Honestly, he's farther along than we ever thought he'd maybe even ever become in throwing the football. But like, come on, there's always a way to improve. And that's his biggest weakness right now is that, he does everything else at top level. He's got amazing playmaking, he can actually make good reads and things like that. But then just getting the ball there sometimes, it's just not perfect. Can definitely get better in that. And that's just fundamentals. That's practice. That's technique. He did not have a lot of great quarterback coaches or anything like that coaching him up. His arm technique is not ideal. It has been changed, and he's just new with it. So for me, accuracy, but it's not even something I see General Baum says consistency. I think that's included in the accuracy.
Yeah.
Because he's made some amazing throws. Like, typically an accurate quarterback throws like ducks a lot, but like for him, it's just like he'll just like slightly miss. But he's also had a lot of amazing throws.
Like that Cardinals game. In the Cardinals game, my God. The Hollywood, when you remember that? I mean, that was a beautiful
back shoulder. Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, whenever he throws to Hollywood deep, it's an amazing throw. The Bengals throw that he threw to him deep, the Dolphins throw he threw to him deep, the Browns throw he threw to him deep. Lamar can throw. It's just consistency. He's missed throws. He missed the throw to Miles Boykin when he threw the pick, not the pick six against Pittsburgh. He underthrew like the out route. Just things like that. And this isn't trying to like hate on Lamar, but like, that's where he can improve. So
I agree with that.
What do you think, Joshua?
I would say more. I would actually agree with General Baum, like consistency, and also I'm gonna get to what Gilbert said too. When I look at consistency, I don't worry about accuracy. Is not a big thing for me for the simple fact that some of the most guys that don't throw the best spirals or the most accurate balls made it to the Super Bowl. I would say reading the defense better because that pick, in the playoffs against who was it? The Buffalo Bills. Like that could have been a touchdown pass. I didn't see it, but I forgot who the corner was. Just slipped in, got the pick, took it to the house. And after that pick, those guys were deflated in spirit. If and Lamar Jackson is a student in the game. I'm not gonna say he's not a student in the game. But as he breaks down defenses more, and I feel like the game this year is going to slow down even more. He's going to become a better passer this year. He's going to want to be more in the pocket. Don't everybody thinks, just because we have him as a dual threat, we're good. No, the most scariest thing is having a dual threat that's really a pocket quarterback. For instance, with Deion Sanders' son, I watched Prime 2.0. That was my show. Deion Sanders trained Shador to be a pocket quarterback, but don't get it twisted. If it came to it, he will use his legs to move the ball.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he became a 4-star recruit not because the last name, because he showed in the state of Texas over 2,500 miles. Travel against teams all around, that he can be a pocket quarterback for those 4 years. So, just the consistency. And, Gilbert said, let John and Greg Roman letting him loose. That will also that will also be a great thing to, let him grow.
Of course.
For the simple fact, if you let him start calling audibles, if you let him start really dissecting defenses and start seeing the plays being drawn up, it's a great thing, because let's think about it. When Cam Newton was at the Carolina Panthers to play against Green Bay, and you heard Clay Matthews, it's going to be this route, it's going to be this route. What Cam said? Oh,
You've been watching film, huh? Oh yeah, watch this.
Yeah,
you know,
and you got it. Yeah.
You gotta let Lamar do those type of things. I mean, what is he now in his third, fourth year? You gotta let if he's your franchise quarterback, you got to let the reins off this young man. Because I mean, he's pretty much like he's a stallion. You know, he's a stud. You gotta let him be. Let this guy play. You know, if y'all watch Glory Road, you know, with the seven African American players that played for Texas Western, and they played against University of Kentucky back in the '60s. Bobby Joe Hill was their point guard at Texas Western. He told his coach, "If you do not let us loose and play our game, we're not going to win. If you do not let Lamar Jackson be, you know, as comfortable, be as free, be able to look at the go up to the line. Okay, I see this man right here. I see that man right here, and I see this gap right here. They probably run the cover 2. You probably got a blitz right here. Hey, you do this XYZ. Let him make things happen with his mind and not his feet. That's what's going to really separate him. That's where he's going to gain the respect of people.
Yeah, I mean, he's the face of honestly, he is the face of the franchise. I mean, he is the face, and they have to let him loose just because he's your guy, right? And also, I think, you know, another thing that I've been saying that I think Lamar should do more of, and I think they should do more as a coach. You see Lamar, he always does plays in shotgun, right? I want to see kind of more under center. You know, like in a way, I kind of want to see that because I think, you know, especially, you know, again, as I said, you know, the Patriots game, bad weather leads to, miss snaps, right? You know, Matt Skura, you know, the infamous, and Patrick McCarry in the Bills game, right? I feel like you run plays under center, you know what I'm saying? I feel like now you can have less of those kinds of situations where Lamar can feel, you know, he can feel more comfortable, right? He can feel more comfortable instead of, a ball gets snapped. Oh, he has to run all the way back to get that ball, and then he has to maybe throw it away or get sacked, you know?
Yeah.
I think those plays can change games. I mean, to be honest, I feel like if we were under center that game against the Patriots, in a way, I'm not saying we could have won the game, but we would have had a way better chance in that game. You know, way better chance, you know? So
it goes both ways, though. So think about this. Lamar Jackson, when he snaps that football in shotgun, he's able to instantly see the edge pressure. How are they doing against the offensive line? If he goes under center, maybe he's turned around to do the play action or whatever. He's doing his drop back. It's much more difficult for him to be able to get out the pocket if there is edge pressure coming off the side.
Yeah.
So when he's able to snap, wow, I can't speak. When he's able to get the ball snapped to him and he's in shotgun, he goes boom, boom. And then if there's a guy coming off the right side, for example, Cleveland Browns 2019, the second time we played them, we were down by 10 points, and then all of a sudden we scored like 14 right before the half. All out blitz, cover 0, corner comes in instantly, sees that, steps up, throws it over the middle, hits Mark Andrews. He's able to instantly get out of the pocket and utilize that strength. But I do like the idea of using the under center more, but we should definitely have that focus in shotgun, in the pistol, just because it allows him to just instantly do what he does best. However, yes, I mean, I think if we went under center, did things like have Hollywood run across, do things kind of like the Chiefs do, where, Tyreek Hill used to do this a lot more, but he does it sometimes now. It's Mecole Hardman. Run around, jet sweep from out of under center to Hollywood. Call a pitch play. Like, just adds more things to the playbook. PA, running a PA bootleg. All those types of things. I know they run bootlegs sometimes, and it's like the worst bootleg ever. Like, Greg Roman can't do a bootleg. He's like, let's do a bootleg. And then it's like, I'll send one receiver to the side that you're throwing the ball to, or I'll send 2 to the exact same spot 10 yards down the field. And then Lamar's like, throw it over everybody's head and see if it works.
No, really good point. Man. Really good point, honestly.
Look at this. Shout out to Living Legend. Says smash the like. Don C says, nice guys, 55 in the chat, 46 likes. Let's get it to 50 likes. Let's get 4 likes. But, I feel like that's pretty solid. If there's another question, we can definitely answer it. But, shout out to Paul. I believe Masick says, favorite channel. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
We have a lot of fun doing it. In terms of overall on the stream, if y'all ever want to be on the stream, remember, you don't have to have any sort of equipment, don't have to have a camera. Just show up. We can have a good time. You can come on the stream. We do it every weekend for right now. I believe it was Don C who said stream on Wednesdays as well. I'll maybe set up something on like Twitch or something where, maybe we could get Joshua joining as well and things like that. Just then it just also as a background, just because I feel like y'all don't want to like look at my face for it's been an hour and 35 minutes. Then you could at least have, some random game in the background to watch. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
And y'all start telling us what systems do y'all have. We can get on, make and play. Get some cards going on. Maybe some Madden if y'all got program. If y'all got NBA 2K, we can get some program together. Hey,
yeah.
At the end of
we
the
gotta
day,
play some. We can play some NBA Playgrounds, PS4. If y'all ever played that game when it came out like 5 years ago, playing the random games. Yeah, I play PS4. Eventually, I'm getting the PS5.
I'm still on PS4 right now as well.
Yeah,
family.
I don't need the 5 until Madden comes out, so I got a few months.
If anybody got NHL, holla at me.
Oh, you play NHL? We got a super chat says from Jake Rooks. Thank you so much, Jake. He says, this might sound mean, and I'm not saying Willie Snead can't do a job, but I'm really happy that we don't have to look at him on this team sheet again. I agree. I agree.
You know what, Jake? I got one better for you. Sammy Watkins is just an upgrade. It's an upgraded version of Willie Snead.
I think even saying upgraded version is disrespectful to Sammy Watkins. Yeah. Willie Snead was.
I said it, man. I said it.
Willie Snead was not fun to watch. There was just no. Every time he caught the ball, I was like, no. There's no opportunity for a big play. He didn't have great hands. He was never that open. Just
the yards after catch. Never had that in a way.
Yeah, it was just, which is funny because he even had I remember that Browns game in week 4 in 2019. He had like a 60-yard touchdown, but it was like as the game clock expired, overall. Yeah, I'm happy we don't have to watch Willie Snead. He reminded me of Kamar Aiken, just in the fact that he was bad and he was a wide receiver. I was never a believer in Kamar Aiken. I know some people were like, I love Kamar Aiken. No, I never was a big fan of him. Willie Snead was Kamar Aiken 2.0.
I was in that game. I was in that game of when Kamar Aiken caught that Hail Mary pass. I think it was in that year where it was when we had
right
Jimmy
at
Clausen at quarterback. Yeah, Jimmy Clausen was at quarterback and he threw that ball and Kamar Aiken caught that. I was in that game, but I honestly, man, I was okay with Kamar Aiken. I didn't think he was too bad. I didn't think he was the best though, obviously, but I think he was a little bit okay.
He wasn't Brashad Perriman.
He wasn't Brashad Perriman.
He was better than that, but it's a low bar.
You know what? Toe King Tay said the best thing that actually made take off for Hollywood's career. He said we need to finally put Hollywood in the slot so he can be a nightmare for safeties and outside linebackers. First of all, Tay, I love you, boy. That's the smartest thing you could ever say, bro. That's the smartest thing you could ever say.
Honest, yeah.
Slot Hollywood. Slot Hollywood. That would be fun to watch. And
that's the thing. Who do you put at your 1 and 2 though?
Would you put Sammy Watkins outside or no? Would you put him on the outside?
I think you'd go Bateman and Watkins on the outside, or Tylan Wallace if you want to throw a jump ball. But for me, the best slot wide receiver we have right now is Duvernay, but he's not good enough to be on the field with our current 3 best wide receivers. So I think right now it will be honestly, I think it'll be Bateman a lot of the times, but I think it's going to mix and match. I mean, I think they're going to swap in and out who's in the slot, who's not, because everybody on the Ravens team could play in the slot. Watkins can come out of the slot. Bateman can come out of the slot. Yeah. And Hollywood could definitely come out of the slot. So
true.
T. Higgins, the GOAT, comes in and says, I want to say something, but I won't. I'll just shut up.
No. Say it.
We need to hear it, T. Higgins, the GOAT.
We may hold on to that for a later episode. Just go ahead.
See, there we go. I need to hear what T. Higgins, the GOAT,
because it sounds like
say.
It sounds like this is stupid. That's what it sounds like.
It sounds like this is stupid. Yeah, there we go. We got to hear this. We got a Browns fan in here.
We got 50. We got 52 likes. We got 56 people on. Yeah, T, you got to talk now.
Man, this stream is popping off.
Everybody
the 8 p.m. stream or the 5 p.m. stream is the way to go. Yeah. Now we got to hear it. We're just all waiting. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh yeah,
Bateman can play in the slot.
Who's
there we go.
There we
go. Shit.
Why do receivers matter? Lamar barely throws. Lol. They matter less. Bro. Here's why. Here's why the Baltimore Ravens receivers matter. Not because we're going to throw them the football, because we know we won't. But if we have receivers, it makes the threat of the throw greater, which helps the run game. I've said this before. If we put Jerry Rice on the Ravens, oh, look at that. We hit 60. Shout out. First time ever. But, I've said this before, but if we put Jerry Rice, if we put Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson on this team, they'd get 1,100 yards, maybe 1,200. But we'd have more rushing yards than we've had in previous seasons, because the threat of stopping a Jerry Rice, the threat of stopping a Calvin Johnson will force you to cover the pass. Even if they don't do it, you have to be wary of stopping that, rushing attack and passing attack. They won't be able to stack the box, which will allow Lamar to get outside, allow Gus to gash the middle, and all those types of things. So the receivers aren't to make the passing game amazing. It's to help the running game be even better and keep the same level of passing game. If we had a wide receiver core of Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, and Jerry Rice and Calvin Johnson, we'd throw it maybe a little bit more than we currently do, but we'd still be a running team. The running game would just be insane, because every time we'd pass, they would be so afraid. If we did a play action, they'd be afraid. They would be forced to stop the pass instead of the run first, and it would just allow us to run all over everybody. So that's my take on it. Like, yeah, obviously there's the joke, Lamar barely throws little, but receivers don't matter as much for the Ravens as if, the Packers. You look at Aaron Rodgers, he's mad. They're not getting him wide receivers. Why? Because Rodgers throws the ball a lot. He needs wide receivers. T says, I don't know why I'm here. You know what? It's all good, T. Yeah. Why are you in here? Nah, it's all good. It's fun having fans of other teams come in here. We had a Titans fan in here earlier. It's a lot of fun. So, we love to see the different questions.
Yeah.
McConnell can speak nice on it. At this point, you got to meet me outside the bank, T. But I love it, man. It's all fun, man. I love everybody's comments. I mean, hey, in 3 years, 7,085 yards with 68 touchdowns. You tell me that man can't throw, then I don't know what he's been doing for us for this past 3 years. I don't know why we don't need wide receivers if he's been producing like that. So you let me know what games you've been watching, because I know you seen that game. I know you seen that game last year when he came back from either whether it was going to the bathroom or fixing out a cramp. He came back and got a touchdown on y'all. I know that. Come on now. Don't talk no trash. Don't talk no trash now. Come on, T.
Yeah, don't talk trash to Joshua. He is ready. He is ready.
I'm really from Baltimore, so I'm gonna talk my talk.
That's all for boys. Yeah.
All right. I feel like that's a good way to wrap it up. Man, we got 56 people in here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining into the stream. It's been a lot of fun. Make sure to come back next week. Probably in a couple of weeks. I'll set up the Twitch thing. Unless y'all want me to do it on this channel, let me know. If you just want, I'll just title it, I don't know what I'll title it. Maybe it would just be like gaming with the viewers. I don't know. Random things. We could do it on Wednesdays if y'all want. I don't have anything right now, so I could do it on Wednesdays if y'all wanted. We could get viewers on and playing PS4 games or playing PC games. Actually, PC games would probably be better, just because it works with the StreamYard stuff. Otherwise, I can do it with OBS and things like that. I've got the software to do it. But could be a lot of fun. But yeah, make sure to come back next week. If y'all want to be on the next stream, DM me on Twitter. Y'all can DM me right now. The maximum is 2 people that we can have on, just because otherwise it gets really hectic. But Patrick, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
No problem. It's a lot of fun. Shout out to Tadeo and Howard from last time. Like, it's just so much fun. We get to hang out, talk with all of y'all. Makes it so much more enjoyable. And it's going to be a lot of fun. This off season may not be a ton of news, but we get to talk about it with all y'all. I see Malte Nauman saying Big Truz. Absolutely.
Hey, y'all know it. Y'all know it. Come on down.
Big Truz.
All that type of stuff. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we will see.
Gilbert, I see you from Baltimore, man.
Go subscribe to the channels, man. Go subscribe
make sure
to TTB Ravens Media, man.
On Instagram, bro. We got to talk, man. Y'all be good, man. We love y'all, man.
Yeah, go subscribe.
Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to do all that kind of stuff. Try and get it to 60 likes. But thank you, everybody.
Yes, sir.
See y'all again when Julio's a Raven. I'm just kidding. See you again tomorrow. Julio can't be a Raven yet.